Okay, it's time to get rid of some spares. I've decided to, well, I actually have obviously quite a lot of spare parts built up in this garage from various job lots that I've bought and from various bikes. This Wayfarer frame was one of those job lots that I bought. I've built a Wayfarer before. I've changed it to 5-speed, and to be honest, there's not that much value in a Wayfarer frame, so it's been tough to sell. It also came with these bars and it came with a few other parts. So what I've decided to do is build it up into a single speed bike. The reason is because I've got this wheel set recently, which has come up another build, which you're not going to see for a while yet, because it is one of my long-term builds. It's a special build. So this wheel set came off it. It's not original to that bike, but it goes on this bike just fine. Do need to service the wheels. They've got good tyres, good tubes. They are 27 inch, and the bike should originally come with 26 and mudguards, but the 27 wheel set will go on fine. And yeah, I'm basically just going to make a single speed bike. So I'm going to obviously take these wheels off first. I've got a lot of spares to go on this. I had grips that actually came with this bike, so they're going to go back on. I've got brake levers that have come from my spares, which are here, so they're going to go on. I've got a rally crank set, and I've got a matching crank arm to go on. Pedals, they've just come on off another bike. I've got a massive calipers here that I'm going to pick through and fit. What else do I need? Seat post, I've got that here as well. Seat post is there. Seat is here, which has just come off another bike, so that is going to go on. And that's pretty much about it. I should have cables. I might have a chain. So that's about all I need from my spares. It's going to be a very simple build, and hopefully I won't run out of battery to do it. Okay, first I'm just going to service the headset. It does look like someone has already tried to service this headset in the past. Don't know how I'm zoom in with only one hand, but there are. Hang on, let me just try. There we go. You can kind of see that. But these are the bearings that are pulled out. They're already greased, but you can see there's different sizes of bearings that someone's put into this headset. So I'm just going to flush all the races out, and then put some new 532s bearings in there, because that's the size that the headset should use. Okay, bearing races flushed, bearings new grease put on, and 24 bearings top and bottom. One thing you need to watch out for with these old rallies is the threading. They use their own threading pitch, which is a 26 threads per inch, as opposed to the standard British standard, the international standard of 24 threads per inch. So you just need to be careful of that if you're working on an old rally. And this one should have actually come with a lamp bracket, but I'm not going to use that, so we're going to put a washer on there instead, washer spacer. One might do it. Let's just have a look. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one should do it. Okay, just going to tighten that up and do what we need to do, then we'll go into the handlebars. Okay, and that's the handlebars set up. They're just the standard town bike style that came with the bike. I always put a little bit of grease around the headset, so when you slide that stem in, it does grease up the stem and keeps it free, keeps it from seizing. Vineman alloy calipers, brake levers are on, grips are on, and to install the grips I just like to use some of this lock deicer. It's just a bit of solvent aerosol. It slides them right on, easy, and it dries quickly and it sticks them down. So that works in my book. So I'm gonna just go on to, I think, the seat post, get that sorted, put the seat on, and then go bottom bracket. Okay, so when it comes to the bottom brackets, it's the same as a headset on these old rallies. They've got their own threading, 26 threads per inch, which means if they haven't got one, they are quite difficult to find replacements for. This has got the cups, so it's all good. Doesn't have the axle though, so I'm trial and error in it here. I'm going for one that I've had in my stock, which is marked, it's got the rally emblem on, it's marked 16. I filled up the cups. The fixed cup is inside still, I haven't taken that out, I've just cleaned it from the inside, greased it and balled it from the inside. Because of these style flats that the rallies have, it makes them very difficult to remove if they're stuck, because they are very shallow, and oh yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. So thanks Rally for that. So when you got your axle, I do have one side that is slightly longer than the other, so that is your drive side. So that is going to go through, come out, and as with every standard sort of head button bracket, it's normal threading, left hand threading, is that? Oh, I don't know, can't remember which switch. Spinning to your right hand threading, whichever. Lefty loosey, righty tighty on this side, whereas the other side is reverse. So I'm just going to clean those axles off. Just to get rid of the gunk. And that's pinched up tight there. There's no play in the axle, but it's a bit rough, so we're going to back it off slightly. And then there is a bit of play, there is a bit of play in the cup. So it's a fine tuning, just bit by bit. But while I'm here actually, before I do lock it off, let's try and fit the arms. So these are the arms I'm going to use. Just check they've got clearance. Plenty of clearance on that side. Oh, I think I need a longer arm. Need a longer arm for this side because I'm bottoming out. Yeah. Need a longer arm. That was not long enough. When you're doing this properly, especially for a fixed gear, you want to take into consideration the chain line. And the chain line is going to be the distance between the centre of the down tube to your chain ring, and obviously just that should be the same measurement as the position of your what do you call it, cog freewheel on the back, which you can work out from, you've got your axle between the dropouts, you've got your centre of your wheel, it's the difference between the centre and obviously your chain wheel, your cog, your freewheel. So those should be as close as possible. So I'm just going to find a different sized thing. Okay, this time I'm going for an axle that is marked 23. Just check all my bearings are still in place. Yep. So the 23 has a longer drive side, but the non-drive side was the same. So let's just check those again. Plenty of room on that side. That's quite loose. That's not enough again. What is going on with this chain wheel? Okay, that is very strange. It's still not enough. Bizarre. Okay, so we ended up getting a bit desperate and stealing a bottom bracket out of another build that's been like forever and a day. It's a 16GG and it's also a rally. So, but it fits. It's a bit longer on the drive side. So when you're putting these cotter pins in, make sure you put it so it's that way up. So you're always going to have, when you're pushing down on the pedal, the big end knot, the nut is on the bottom. So if I was to put it that way, when I'm pushing down, the nut's going to have to be in. So because it's going in that side, there we go. So yeah, when you're pushing down, make sure that nut is on the bottom. Comprende? And that's going to have to be forced in a bit more. I'm just going to lean through and just put the drive side on. It should be a 10mm. Yep. Just pinch it tight. There we go. And then I'm just going to tap it and do it up at the same time. It's a bit tight. Might just have to back that off a little bit, which is doable. So I'm going to spin that round to the other side. See what I'm working with at the moment. I'm tipping it down with rain outside. It's been raining all day, but I've got no battery, so I haven't recorded much on this. But to update, we have front wheel on, serviced that. Bearings weren't too good inside, so they've been replaced, all greased up and everything. You've seen me do that before, so you know what it's like. Tyres are good. I've actually, the wheel as well, is this going to move the handlebars? it was well out of alignment. It's still a little bit, sort of still got to do a little bit more tweaking, but I've just had to tweak a few spokes just to get them back in line. I've got a caliper that's been put on, short reach, because they've got 27-inch wheels on now rather than the 26. So that's the front done. Just got to do the back now. So I've got to service this wheel here and then find a caliper for the back when I get that on. And then that's pretty much it, apart from putting the chain on. The chain is the easy part. Rear wheel is done. Spinning smoothly now. Clean. Yeah, all good. I had to just space it out so it was evenly spaced, because it wasn't before. So I've just added a lock nut to each side and added a, what do you call it, a beveled, embossed washer on each side. And now that spins nicely. The free wheel's a bit sticky, very sticky actually. So I'm going to have a look at sorting that. It's the original one. But yeah, now it's just time to put the chain on and find a rear caliper and then clean everything. It's got so dark and miserable. Chain on, cleaned up. I used the old chain that was on the wheel that this came off, the bike that this came off. So I've just got to find that rear caliper, which I think I've got indoors, and then give everything a real good clean off. The chain and everything is all greased up. I've actually just took it for a tiny little ride round and it worked fine. But yeah, not bad for a pile of junk that I had in the garage. So I'm just going to find those parts and finish it off. Found the caliper, found a spare caliper just there, so that will go on nicely. And then it's just a case of just putting the cable on, and yeah, little single speed Beta is ready to roll. I will explain chain line after this because it's just a short video, so I'll explain the chain line. So if you're going to build your own, you kind of know what's what. Okay. Okay, there it is, all done. So yeah, basically just made that Wayfarer here. Don't need to do a single speed. Made it out of the spare parts that I've just had lying around. Let's go closer. So we've gone for 700C, not 700C, 27-inch wheels. The chrome's a little pitted on them, but hey ho, tyres are good. Because it was 26-inch before and it's gone to 27, we've got the shorter drop brake calipers, which are the Vineman 500s, front and rear. 21-inch frame, which is, you know, it's in fairly good condition actually. I mean, there are spots like here that have got a bit of paint missing, but I think it goes with the character of this bike. Got some nice cage pedals, some flat pedals, they're quite nice. Nice rally chain ring, which I think came off a Caprice that I had ages ago, which was knackered. So that's 48 tooth, big ring to grind the speed out with. And then we go down on the back. Obviously got a 27-inch wheel again, but we've got a 18 tooth TD Cross and Sons freewheel, just single speed obviously. So it's a 48-18. It's a fairly high ratio. It needs a bit of cranking to get going sometimes, especially if you're going to be starting on a hill. But yeah, there we go, that goes round. Obviously another Vineman caliper on the rear, just a chrome seat post. Just chucked a couple of these cable clamps on just to hold it, and I've just put my worn charge saddle on because Brown went with the sidewalls, and I was actually having troubles getting some of the saddles that I've got to fit with this clamp. Oh yeah, bars. Bars are the town bars that came on the Wayfarer. They're actually quite clean. And I've just put some Vineman brake levers on that I had lying around. So that's that. And it's just a nice little single speed to get around on. I think it's got a nice style to it. Looks good from behind. But there you go, short little video. But what I wanted to explain very quickly was the chain line. Hang on, let me just put you in the stand. Okay, so chain line. Chain line, as the name would suggest, is obviously the line of the chain. Has it just started raining? Seriously? Anyway, so yeah, chain line of the chain. It's dead simple to work out on a single speed, a fixed gear, because there's only one and one. It gets a little more complicated when you try and work it out for a geared bike, because you've got 2 or 3 up front and however many on the rear. But basically it's just to try and keep that chain as straight as possible between the 2 rings, the 2 sprockets, the 2 gears, whatever you want to call them. Because when you try and twist that chain slightly, it just gets a bit of it makes it less efficient. Obviously you're going to have that on derailleur bikes, on geared bikes, because of the shifting, but you try and make it as best as possible. So, chain line. Let's start at the front. Okay, front chain line. To measure your front chain line, it's a very simple calculation. We're going to go from... Oh no, I can't get my... Oh, there we go. From the centre of the chain to the centre of the seat tube. Whoa, almost dropped that. So on this bike, if I can actually get it in properly, centre of the seat tube, about there, centre of the chain, need to angle it slightly. So it's around 45-46 mil. Yeah, say 46. So the front chain line is 46 mil. Let's say that. If you wanted to adjust that on the front, then you're going to need to work with the axle, making it longer or making it shorter. If it's a symmetrical axle, obviously if you make the axle longer by say 5 mil, you're only going to be adding 2.5 mil on each side. Some axles, older axles, aren't symmetrical. This one isn't, the one that's in there at the moment. So you've got a longer drive side than that. You can also space out the bottom bracket, adding spaces against the fixed cup. That's another way to do it. Or you could, if you've got removable chain rings, always add spacers in the actual chainring itself, between the spider and the chainring. So you can play around with it a little bit. If you've got a double crankset, it's the measurement from the centre of the seat tube to the centre between the rings. And if you've got a triple, it's again centre to the centre of the chain on the middle ring. Okay, got that? Hopefully. Okay, we're going to go to the back. Okay, on the rear, there are a few more calculations to do. The first one you're going to want to know or work out is the overlock nut diameter or the dropout spacing. So you need to measure the distance from this edge here to that edge on the other side. Either take your wheel out and just measure the dimensions over your lock nuts, or if this will work, if I've got enough space in here, you stick your ruler through. Let's go there. Stick your ruler through and go to where you can. Chain ring's getting in the way, the free wheel's getting in the way, and I've got it on inches. Let's go from the other side. So on this bike it should be around 115mm because it's Sturmey Archer, and I can't actually look at it, show it to the camera and do it. There to there. Yeah. 115mm between the dropouts. So remember that 115mm, because then you're going to halve that. So what we got, 115 divided by 2, 55, 57.5. Okay, 57.5 is the measurement from the centre of the bike to the edge of here. Now we're going to want to take the measurement from the centre of the freewheel, or your sprocket, or your cog, whatever you got on the back, to the dropout. So I have got about 17mm. So we got, what was it, 57.5 and 17. So you got 57.5, take away 17, 40.5. So the chain line on my rear is 40.5. And what was it on the front? The front was 46. I remember now. So I'm actually 6mm out on this. Which it didn't actually look too bad. It actually looks straight. But yeah, apparently I am 6mm out. Chainline wise. So you want to try and keep it as straight as possible. Anywho, if you have got gears on the back, it's a bit more complicated, because then you have to work out the centre of the cassette or the freewheel, whichever you've got, and then go to there. But for single speed fixed, you want to try and keep it as straight as possible, which is weird because it turns without much rattling or anything like that. So I don't know, 6mm out, it seems to turn off fine. It looks relatively straight. If I wanted to change it, if I wanted to add a bit more chain line to correct it, what I would do is take a washer off this side and pop it on, so take it off the drive side, pop it on the non-drive side to bring the axle over to make it a bit straighter. That will then of course affect the dishing of the wheel or the alignment of the wheel, so you'd have to then correct that. But the probably easiest way is to adjust the chain rings on the front, if you don't want to redish the wheel. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed this little scrap build. 510s, always wear 510s. This build of a little single speed beater, pub bike, uni bike, whatever you want to call it. I actually quite like it, but I'm going to sell it because I have way too many bikes at the moment. And I'm building a fixed gear anyway, again, fixed gear version 3. So, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, I mean, you can hit that thumbs down if you really want to. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. There are lots more bikes in this mess here to build or to work on, etc. And you'll see at least 2 videos come out each week. Touch wood. I'll carry on continuing that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.